Caitlin, could you tell us a little bit about your eye, the hit, if it affected you, how it affected you, and through the rest of the game?
Did you catch the drama with USA Today and the WNBA Players Union? It's getting heated, and it's all because of one question about Caitlin Clark. Want to know what's got everyone so fired up? But hold up, there's more. Jemele Hill just dropped a bomb about Caitlin Clark that's got everyone talking. She said the WNBA's success isn't all about Clark. Can you believe it?
Yeah, obviously got me pretty good in the eye. I don't think it affected me. Honestly, I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down, and obviously a tough time for that to happen. Better than I usually do, which is a positive, but overall, like, Coach said in the locker room, like, we were down 3 the first quarter, down 5 second quarter, and then lost by 3 in the third. Like,
Hill's arguing that the league's ratings have been going up for years, way before Clark even stepped on the court. But here's the thing, Clark's rookie season was insane. She broke records left and right, and people couldn't stop watching. Her games were like must-see TV. So who's right? Is it all about Clark, or is there more to the story? You know what's crazy? This whole thing is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more going on behind the scenes. Ready to dig deeper? Remember that eye poke incident with Caitlin Clark? It just sparked a full-blown media meltdown. USA Today is in hot water. The WNBA Players Union is fuming, and it's all because of one reporter's question. How did things escalate so fast? It all started when USA Today columnist Christine Brennan asked Jemele Carrington about the moment she accidentally poked Clark in the eye. Brennan's exact words: "When you went and kinda swatted at Caitlin, did you intend to hit her in the eye?" Now, put yourself in Carrington's shoes for a second. You're standing there, microphone's in your face, and someone's asking if you meant to hurt another player. That's intense.
When you went and kind of swatted at Caitlin, did you intend to hit her in the eye?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional.
Carrington's response was pretty straightforward. She said, "I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't even know I hit her." Seems reasonable, right? But here's where things get wild. The WNBA Players Association went off. They didn't just disagree with Brennan's question. They went nuclear. They accused her of trying to bait a professional athlete into participating in a narrative that is false and designed to fuel racist, homophobic, and misogynistic vitriol on social media. That's some serious heat.
It is what it is. People are gonna talk, but like we've been doing all season, we're gonna, keep talking on the court. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am. So yeah.
Did you and Marina kind of laugh about it afterwards? It looked like there was later on in the game they caught you guys laughing.
I just told you I didn't even know I hit her, so I can't laugh about something I didn't know happened. We all see it. It is what it is. I think that at the end of the day, I know who I am, and I know, what type of person and player I am, and the people who know me know that as well. So,
but wait, it gets crazier. The WNBPA didn't stop there. They called for Brennan to lose her media credentials. They're saying her question lacked integrity and objectivity, two things that are super important in journalism. Can you imagine the uproar if a reporter lost their job over one question? USA.
Clark was the first one in the tunnel. Her long year of basketball over. She was chosen #1 in the WNBA draft. Last night, we saw Caitlin Clark take the last shot of her season, one that ended with an 87-81 loss to the Sun in Game 2 of the first round of the playoffs, and took a team that had won 30 combined games over the previous 4 years to its first playoff berth since 2016. Clark had a rookie record-setting year. Here she is.
Today wasn't about to take this lying down. They came out swinging in Brennan's defense. Roxana Scott, their sports executive editor, said, "We reject the notion that the interview perpetuated any narrative other than to get the player's perspective directly." Basically, they're saying Brennan was just doing her job. Here's the thing, this isn't just about one question or one incident. It's bringing up huge issues about how we talk about women's sports. The backlash against Carrington on social media was intense. We're talking racial slurs, threats, the whole ugly mess. It shows there's still a ton of racism and misogyny in sports coverage.
Like, I feel like I didn't even have time to really reflect on my college career because it ended so fast. And then I came here and was trying to give everything I could to this team. And it was special. There was a lot of things that this group accomplished. I feel like basketball has really consumed my life for a year. So I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened that, a lot of people probably didn't think was possible.
Some people are saying the WNBPA overreacted. They argue Brennan was just asking a fair question about a big moment in the game, but others see it as part of a bigger problem, how the media frames stories about women athletes, especially women of color. Think about it. How often do you see questions like this in men's sports? Would a reporter ask an NBA player if they meant to poke someone in the eye? It's bringing up all these conversations about double standards and how we treat different athletes. This whole situation is like a pressure cooker. You've got the media trying to do their job, players feeling attacked, and a player's union fighting to protect their members.
That there was a big three with Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell as well, but what she has been able to do has transcended not just women's basketball, but it's women's sport. After Olympic break, you mentioned it, Molly, it's like finally she can wait, waiting to exhale.
Totally.
23, 9, and 8 were her averages, bringing the Fever to the playoffs. I know the only other athletes that I can see recently, the past generation, that have moved the needle like this, maybe Serena Williams, absolutely. Anytime she played, anytime she won titles, straight up viewership, box office.
And in the middle of it all, you've got fans trying to figure out what's really going on. Amid all this drama, one question remains. Is Caitlin Clark really living up to the hype? Her rookie season broke records, but not everyone's convinced. What if I told you one vote nearly changed everything? Let's talk about Caitlin Clark's rookie season. This girl was on fire. She didn't just break records, she shattered them. Most points and assists by a rookie in WNBA history. That's not just good, that's legendary stuff. We're talking about a player who came in and immediately changed the game.
35 at home, 15,000 on the road. Attendance for the entire league up nearly 50% this year, according to data. When we talk about league attendance, the Indiana Fever, all right, with Caitlin Clark, led the league in attendance both home and on the road. Fever averaged 17,000 from across the timeline, and Indiana leads all teams with an average attendance of, like I said, of 17,035. Merchandise sales are up 450%.
But here's where things get weird. Clark won Rookie of the Year, and it wasn't even close. She got 66 out of 67 votes. Sounds amazing, right? But that one vote that didn't go her way, it went to Angel Reese. And that's where the controversy started. Imagine being so good that people are upset you didn't win unanimously. That's the world Clark is living in right now. One vote, and suddenly everyone's talking about whether she deserved it or not. It's crazy how one tiny detail can spark such a huge debate.
Yeah,
A year this far.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark came into the WNBA as the most impactful women's basketball player we've seen in a generation.
All right, Caitlin finally getting a moment to breathe, right? As she just mentioned, didn't even get to reflect at all on her college career and just jumped right into things and had an epic season.
And it took a combination of things, both on and off the court. Off the court, attendance, viewership. On the court, breaking the single season scoring record, or the all-time scoring record in college.
Now, let's talk numbers. Clark's games were like must-see TV. The WNBA was seeing record viewership, especially during the playoffs. People were tuning in just to watch her play. That's the kind of star power that can change a league. But here's where Jemele Hill comes in. She's saying, hold up, it's not all about Clark. Hill's arguing that the WNBA's been growing for years. She's got a point. The league's been on the up and up way before Clark stepped on the court. So what's the truth? Is Clark single-handedly saving the WNBA? Or is she just part of a bigger trend? The answer's probably somewhere in the middle.
A first-team all WNBA, okay? Fourth in the league in MVP voting, and we see all of these things. Certainly she's going to be a great player. Merchandise sales are up 450% for the WNBA, according to Fanatics. So take those things into consideration. Yes, we're looking at the unanimous choice for AP Rookie of the Year. I think we see that. We see the capability on the basketball court. She can shoot, she can handle, she certainly can pass, okay? I look at it from that standpoint, and I say mad respect.
Yeah, Clark's definitely bringing in new fans and attention, but the WNBA has been building something special for a long time. Think about it this way. Clark's like the cherry on top of an already delicious sundae. The WNBA has been making that Sunday for years. Adding great players, exciting games, and growing fan support, Clark's just making it look even better. But here's the thing, all this attention on Clark is bringing up some big questions. Are we focusing too much on one player? What about all the other amazing athletes in the league? It's great that Clark's bringing in new fans, but we can't forget about the players who've been grinding for years.
Arenas were upgraded, viewership through the roofs. But then when it comes to the basketball, what she was able to do was truly impressive. But now you see her in the WNBA, and you can say the exact same thing. Most impactful that we've seen in women's basketball for those same two reasons. She averaged 19 and 8. For some context, I won Rookie of the Year. I think I averaged 12. It is a huge feat to get those types of numbers.
And let's be real, this isn't just about basketball. It's about how we talk about women's sports. It's about who gets the spotlight and why. Clark's success is awesome, but it's also shining a light on some issues that have been there all along. Now, here's where things get complicated. You think you know who's getting all the attention in women's basketball. Think again. There's a whole other game being played behind the scenes, and it's not pretty. Jemele Hill just dropped a truth bomb that's shaking up the WNBA world. She's calling out a huge problem in sports media, and it's all about who gets the spotlight.
There's an incredible level of gratitude that should be accorded to this young lady with what she did for the sport. That's not to take anything away from anybody else. First of all, let's put this in its proper perspective. When I think about Caitlin Clark, the operative word that comes to my mind is gratitude. But I often argue, when I've argued with folks about this, you think NBA players shouldn't be thankful to Magic Johnson? You think NBA players shouldn't be thankful to Larry Bird? You think NBA players shouldn't be thankful to Michael Jordan?
Hill's saying that white athletes like Caitlin Clark are getting way more attention than black players. She even threw out some numbers, saying the coverage is 2-to-1 in favor of non-white women, especially black women. Imagine being Aja Wilson, one of the best players in the league, and watching all the cameras focus on someone else. It's not just about hurt feelings. This kind of unbalanced coverage can affect careers, endorsements, and the whole future of the sport. But it's not just Hill talking about this. The WNBA Players Association is fired up too. They're accusing some journalists of lacking integrity and being straight up insincere. They're saying some reporters are pushing narratives that fuel racism and other nasty stuff on social media.
We just watched one of the most unique experiences in the history of sports. And I'm talking about the Caitlin Clark experience. Here's the excuse I'm going to give them, and this is the bow I'm gonna put on this whole conversation. And this is a sympathetic take towards everybody on the Indiana Fever. And it's gone on non-stop. The Caitlin Clark is...
That's a serious accusation. Remember that eye poke incident with Jemele Carrington? It turned into way more than just a game moment. Carrington faced a storm of backlash online, including racial slurs and threats. It's like the media coverage opened the floodgates for all this hate. USA Today tried to defend their reporter, saying journalists have to ask tough questions. But here's the thing, are these tough questions being asked equally to all players? Or are some athletes getting grilled while others get softballs? This whole situation is bringing up some big questions about how we talk about women's sports. Are we telling the whole story or just the parts that fit a certain narrative? It's not just about basketball anymore. It's about representation, fairness, and who gets to control the story. Think about the last few WNBA games you watched or articles you read. Who were they focusing on? Was it always the same few players, or did you get a mix of stories? It's easy to get caught up in the hype around one or two stars, but there's so much more talent in the league that deserves attention. Here's the real kicker, this isn't just a WNBA problem. It's happening across women's sports. Some athletes are becoming household names, while others, who might be just as talented, are barely getting a mention. And when race comes into play, it gets even more complicated. So what can we do about it? For starters, we can be more aware of these biases when we're watching games or reading about sports. Pay attention to who's getting the airtime and who's not. Look for stories about players you might not know much about. Support media outlets that give a platform to a diverse range of athletes. And here's a challenge for you. Next time you're talking about women's basketball, try bringing up a player who's not always in the headlines. There are so many amazing stories in the WNBA. Let's make sure they all get heard. Wow, what a roller coaster. We've seen it all. Media drama, player clashes, and some serious questions about fairness in sports coverage. But here's the thing, there's so much talent in the WNBA, and every player deserves their moment in the spotlight. The WNBPA's got a point. We need to celebrate all athletes, not just the ones getting the most airtime. It's on us to seek out different stories and support media that gives everyone a fair shot. Your choices as a fan matter more than you think. So what's next for women's sports coverage? Do we keep focusing on a few stars, or do we spread the love? Imagine a world where every amazing play, every hardworking athlete gets their due. That's the kind of change we should be pushing for. What do you think it'll take to get there?